All right, today we're jumping into a concept that's absolutely foundational to the Seventh-day Adventist faith, what they call the Great Controversy. You've probably wondered about this yourself, right? I mean, it's a huge question. Well, for Adventists, that struggle between good and evil isn't just a bunch of random chaos. No, it's actually the main plot point in a much, much bigger story. And yeah, you guessed it, that story is what's called the Great Controversy. So, to really get this worldview, you gotta wrap your head around this one core idea that all of human history is basically playing out inside this vast cosmic conflict. Okay, so what is this controversy, really? Well, when you boil it all down, it's this massive, universe wide struggle over what God is actually like. It's all about questions like, is God actually fair? Are his rules just? And does he even have the right to be in charge of the universe? So the story goes, this whole thing didn't even start here on Earth. Nope. It kicked off up in heaven with this really powerful angel who got consumed by pride and started questioning God's authority. This whole rebellion led to a war. And he, well, you know him as Satan, was thrown out, bringing his fight to a brand new battlefield, little old planet Earth. But where did this idea, this whole narrative, even come from? To figure that out, to see how it became so important for Adventists, we've got to rewind the clock to a really pivotal moment in the church's history. The year is 1858. This is the moment. Ellen G. White, one of the founders of the church, has this incredible, super detailed 2-hour vision of the entire cosmic battle. I mean, can you imagine? And that one vision, it was the seed that grew into her first writings on it. And then, get this, she spent the next 30 years fleshing it all out into the book we now know as the Great Controversy. And honestly, her work was a total game changer. Because of what she wrote, this idea of a cosmic conflict wasn't just some cool theory anymore. It became the actual lens, the very framework that Adventists use to understand, well, everything. The Bible, world history, you name it. Okay, so we've got the what and the where from. Now, probably the easiest way to really get a handle on the Great Controversy is to think of it like a huge play, a cosmic drama in 5 acts. So here's the entire story arc in a nutshell. You've got the rebellion up in heaven, right? Then the whole battle shifts down to earth when humanity falls. The big turning point, the climax really, is Jesus' mission. And then there's the part that's happening right now, in our own lives, before it all wraps up with that final, ultimate resolution. Right at the heart of this whole drama is this massive clash of character. It's like 2 totally opposite ways of living. On one side, you have God's character. It's all about love, fairness, and freedom. And on the other side, you've got Satan's rebellion, which is all about selfishness, lies, and force. So from this perspective, Jesus' entire life and his death was the ultimate proof of what God is really like, especially in the face of all those nasty accusations. And this is where that huge cosmic story gets really personal, bringing it right down to today. That ongoing battle, it means that for a believer, the little choices you make every day aren't so little after all. They're seen as you picking a side in this giant spiritual war. But here's the thing, the story doesn't just end with a fight. It's all pointing toward a final victory, a promised future where Jesus comes back and everything is made right again, just like it was supposed to be. All right, so we've walked through the whole story, but why does it matter so much? I mean, what makes this one theme so foundational to the Adventist faith? Let's dig into how it works as this complete, all-encompassing worldview. And this right here is the key thing to get. For an Adventist, the Great Controversy isn't just another belief on a long list of beliefs. No way. It's more like the master key, It's the central lens that makes everything else, creation, salvation, prophecy, all of it click together into one single coherent story. There's an Adventist theologian, Herbert Douglas, who put it perfectly. He said, this theme is basically what brings coherence to it all. It's the thread that connects all the different dots in the Bible and weaves them into one giant, epic story. And you can start to see how this builds a whole worldview, right? It gives an answer for why there's so much suffering and evil. It paints a picture of God not as some angry, distant ruler, but as a loving being whose reputation is on the line. And maybe the most powerful part? It makes your everyday choices feel like they have real cosmic meaning. So yeah, the story is full of conflict, full of struggle, but it's so important to remember that the ending, the final chapter, is all about absolute victory and hope. So, if there's one thing to take away, it's this. This is not a story about an endless tug of war between good and evil, like they're evenly matched. Not at all. This is a story with a guaranteed ending. The conclusion is already written. Goodness, love, and justice, they win. Period. And Ellen G. White paints this incredible picture of the final scene. It's a complete resolution. We're not just talking about a victory here. We're talking about a total reset, a restoration of peace and harmony where everyone and everything in the entire universe finally gets it. They're all on the same page. God is love. So we'll leave you with a question to chew on. Look, whether this is your belief system or not, just think about the idea itself for a second. The idea of seeing our world as a stage for some grand cosmic drama, it's a powerful thought, isn't it? How would a perspective like that change how you look at your own life, your struggles, your choices, your purpose? Something to think about.